So what is a Satan? I haven't got that fact. Oh, he's an accuser.
Mm-hmm.
The devil is to kill, steal, and destroy.
Mm-hmm.
And demons are disembodied souls of Nephilim.
Mm-hmm.
Demons are disembodied souls of Nephilim.
Yeah.
Now, what did Lindy say on Sunday
What
about
did she,
souls?
what did she say?
Weren't you there? Because I've always sometimes felt there are disembodied souls. And I know back in the day, I mean, my friend Pam in Bournemouth, and the other thing was you introduced them to Jesus because they were the result of traumatic death or something. And Lindy said, nope, souls and spirit, the soul and spirit goes. So if you are feeling sort of what could be a soul, it's actually a familiar spirit. I find there are certain places around me where I always feel there are disembodied beings. But I always thought, anyway, I used to introduce them to Jesus and say, off you go, bye. But apparently, no, they weren't souls, they were familiar spirits.
No, it could be.
Could be.
Yeah.
They're not demons, they're familiar, well, I suppose familiar spirits are demons.
No.
Well, what are they then? Another definition.
Remember Gilgal?
Gilgal.
Gilgal.
Gilgul. Gilgul. It's a better word. Gilgul.
Gilgal. I remember the word, but I can't think of the connection at the moment.
Reincarnation.
Yeah.
The soul that hasn't fulfilled all the commandments of Torah gets another body to fulfill the commandments of Torah.
But that doesn't mean the soul is disembodied. It must go back to where it came from.
Sometimes a body occupies two souls.
A body or two souls occupy one body.
Yeah.
Oh, Ronald, come on. Two souls occupy, which one body occupies two souls. Because you've got one that's yours and one that's coming back to learn.
Yeah.
So that is that when people kind of a bit schizophrenic?
There you go.
Because they've got two souls.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's interesting, isn't it?
So would you say that was true of bipolar people?
Yeah, and it happens when a child is born in a womb where there was an abortion.
Ooh, ooh.
That was my daughter.
Then you got a dual soul in one body.
Dual soul in one body.
Because she's got the soul of the baby that I aborted, killed, to give it its correct term, and her own soul.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people walking around with two souls in them then.
The chances are, yeah.
But she's, I mean, she can be challenging, my daughter, but I wouldn't have said she was split.
That doesn't mean split. They can integrate completely.
Sorry?
They can integrate completely. This is what Arthur Burke calls the alien spirit.
Yeah, the alien spirit.
But also all the people that are DID, but that's more of a different thing, isn't it? That's more fragmentation.
DID?
It was fragmentation. When you split off into little parts.
Multi-personality syndrome.
DID, whatever they. Yeah. And one day you're a man and the next day you're a 4-year-old girl. I mean, because all these parts are in you. And I understood that was always because of the trauma you'd been
There
through.
can be trauma. You can do it also deliberately.
Deliberately. Yeah,
If
but I mean,
it-
often when it's bad, it's trauma, it's real trauma.
Yeah, when it's bad, then you have full separation or partial separation.
Yeah. Oh, so that's interesting. So if you're a split personality, you've got two souls. So which soul is my daughter walking with, hers or the dead babies?
That is a question you never can answer.
So you're saying that everybody who has a child after an abortion, that child will have two souls in them?
No, there is a possibility.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
The child is born in a place of death.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crummy.
No, I
Yes.
saw that manifest.
The womb is the whole structure, the physical structure of the womb is a representation of the temple.
Yeah.
You've got the 3 layers.
Mm.
You got the impregnation. You got the ejaculation of the blood once a year into the womb,
Mm.
bring forth new life.
Oh, I've never heard that before. Mm. Oh, wow.
That's why you have temple prostitutes. They dedicate their womb to a god, and when men come, they deposit their seed into that temple so that their seed might reproduce something spiritually.
Wow.
But how do they know what they're reproducing or whose seed is being reproduced?
Because those people knew more than we are. They were spiritual and we were material.
Hang on.
Do you think those people that run the temple and set up temple prostitutes are stupid? They know, of course, what they're doing.
So is it a way of getting power?
Of course, it's a way of getting financial breakthrough. It's a way of getting position.
Did the women know what was going on?
It depends how they are. They're more like living zombies.
Yeah,
Wow.
all that abuse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, crummy.
I can imagine they completely are disconnected from their soul because their soul goes in hiding when this happens. They can't stand it anymore. So there you got dissociation.
Mm.
And you think this world is a bad place.
Mm.
Welcome to the ancient times.
Yeah.
Well, there was much more them and us
Yeah. Just using
back then.
people. Mm. Give me strength. That's never talked about.
What?
Any of this.
I think we gloss over it. We
Yeah.
gloss over it because we don't really want to go there. I mean, how much of it goes on today?
Well, this is what I'm
How much sacrificing goes on today?
Well, we know, I mean, I've heard for a long time about sacrificing children and all the rest of it, and that women are made to have children just to sacrifice them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Tony Blair was supposed to be sacrificed to stay in power.
Well,
How
yeah,
true that is, I don't know.
yeah, it's frightening if that is, yeah,
Because it goes on today.
yeah. And presumably it goes on through Masonic activity. Yeah.
How do you stop that?
I don't know. Well, I mean, Lindy was on about on Sunday that she had closed down brothels by praying in tongues outside them and no doubt doing other stuff. Yeah.
Well, Rob and I have closed down brothels in Maidenhead, but I mean, a brothel needn't necessarily be a temple of abuse.
Well, this
I
is
mean-
it. How do you, yeah.
You have to pick it up, the what's behind it.
But I mean, a brothel should be closed down anyway.
Yeah, well, yeah. No, we did.
So what happens when you close a brothel?
They probably go somewhere else. But it cleans up the street for other people.
Yeah, so you take out the trash, you can throw it on the doorstep of your neighbor.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So how do you stop it altogether?
You can't.
You've got to pray that they believe.
I was going to say they've got to come into the belief, haven't they?
As long as there are human beings rebelling against God, sin will be on the earth.
Well, obviously, yeah.
And you can deal with the authority God is giving you and try to minimize it. But see how long it took Dr. O to clean Venice. 10 years.
And has he cleaned it completely?
No,
Well, no, he never will. Will he?
but it's much better than it was now, than it was when he came.
Yes, I can understand that.
So even a man with his power and insight and authority and angelic structures and knowledge takes 10 years to do it.
Yes.
So it's noble to start, but you have to do this. Nobody goes to war unless you have calculated the costs and have studied your enemy.
Yeah.
That's the mistake Putin made.
I was going to say Putin did it, and I thought,
Yeah, he miscalculated the strength of the Ukrainian people, the willingness to die for the country. Ask any teenager in London if he wants to die for his country. He say, yes, okay, now go. He doesn't. While people in Holland, Ukrainian people in Holland, give up their jobs, give up their livelihood, and go back to their nation to fight, not knowing if they will come back.
Yeah.
They leave behind their families, their jobs, they quit their jobs, they take a one-way ticket to Kiev.
Yeah.
And start fighting.
Yeah. Yes.
And he also underestimated the strength of the West to stand with Ukraine. I think he thought we
but that is the result of the intervention some people made in the heavenlies using the cosmic seals.
Using the what? Cosmic what?
The cosmic seals.
Oh, what are they? Am I supposed to know about this?
Well, you've got Aquarius, you've got Spices, Aries, you've got the constellations.
Oh, you mean the stars?
No, the constellations.
Well, yes, yeah, no. Yeah.
Why did Putin choose the 24th of February to go to war?
Oh, is it significant?
Of course.
Oh.
Even the Bible says, at the time when the nations go to war, David stayed home.
Yes.
Because there is a time to go to war.
And that wasn't the right time for David.
No, he stayed home while he should have gone to war, and that's why
Ah.
he fell.
Right, I'm with you. Yeah.
There is a time. So when is the time to go to war?
Probably when Mars is in Aries.
Correct. When Mars is in Aries, it's time to go to war,
Yeah,
because then the energy for war is there.
yeah.
And Putin would have known this.
Well, yes.
Of
course he did.
Every leader knows this.
Oh.
You can't rule a nation if you don't know this.
Mm.
That's why people that are idealistic and come to power after a year, they've changed their opinion, because before they didn't know and now they know. You can't be in a position of power without having understanding of how the energy of the constellations and everything else works together.
Mm.
If you think you can run a nation without using the cosmic energies, you're gonna find out very soon that you were no longer in power.
Mm. Mm.
They are all Masons, and if they are not, they are enlisted.
Say that again. If they're all Masons, but
If they are not, they are enlisted. If you do not become a Mason, we will tell the people what you did 25 years ago on Saturday to some, or we're gonna kill your wife, or we're gonna kill your children.
oh, give me strength.
No, that is real life. That's what we are. So when you're closing a brothel, you're standing up against Lilith.
Right, yeah.
And if you think you can survive that, go ahead. It's like the drug bosses allow certain shipments to be caught by the police in order to pass on bigger shipments on the other side of the road.
Yeah, yeah. Yes.
We fight still as toddlers against an enemy, and we have no clue what we think we close a brothel, but the only thing you do is kick the ant's nest.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Then it spreads. Mm.
How long did it take Wilberforce to end slavery?
All his life.
Yes. And how did he do it?
Legally.
He did it.
How? What was his tactic?
He did it through the law.
How? What did he do?
I don't know. He kept going.
He's an
petitioning.
Englishman. You should know.
Yeah, but he petitioned Parliament.
He was a member of parliament, so he
Yeah,
tried
yeah.
to invoke laws to
Yeah.
end slavery. He didn't succeed for 40 years,
Yeah, yeah.
because the moment he started putting up a law, the whole merchant guys set up their member of parliament, and he wouldn't succeed.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
the power of money was too strong. He had no power. He had a minister on his side who wrote Amazing Grace. That's the only thing he had. And he had an ally in France, which everybody accused him of. So how did he succeed? How did he end slavery in a peaceful way in the United Kingdom?
He got the law changed.
How?
I don't know what you mean by how.
Well,
What
I
did-
guess either spiritually.
No, what did
angelic,
he? What
or
did he? What did he do?
He kept writing.
No. Don't you know what he did?
No, what did he do?
What do you mean?
He changed the law that the merchant ships were not allowed to sail on the British flag So they were to sail under independent flags. And by doing so, they were no longer protected by the Royal Navy. So pirates could attack the merchant ship because they had no covering.
So he did, it was law. He did it through the law.
But you have to know what he did.
Oh, I see. You're talking about the law that he changed.
Yes.
Yes, that's what I
He
said.
did.
the law.
He didn't end slavery in a frontal attack.
No.
He changed the law for the merchant ships.
Yeah.
And when the time came to vote for that law, he had invited all of his opponents for a free run on the horse track. He took them out. He took all the members of parliament that would vote against him. He took them on a trip. He paid money to get them out of the House of Parliament into a racetrack and have a nice day with all kinds of women. And then he proposed the law, and the guys who were sitting there, there's something going on and we don't know what. And then they entered into the House of Parliament and they saw that Wilberforce was entering a law that ended the protection of the merchant ships. And by doing so, the guys who owned the ships, the raiders, would lose their money because they had to put on additional protection, military force to protect their merchant. And they couldn't hold up. So within a year, all those merchant ships went bankrupt. The way to end a big major thing is never in a frontal attack. You have to find a way around to draw the power. What was the power of the merchant ship? It was money.
Yeah.
No, not greed, it was money.
Well, it's the greed, wanting money.
No, it's not greed, it's money. Money is a being. Come on.
Yeah. Like Mammon is a being. Yeah.
Mammon is a Satan.
No.
No,
Yes, he is a Satan.
not according to Ricky.
Ah, well, it depends what a Satan is. What's a Satan?
An adversary, an accuser, how do you say that? A general prosecutor. Something that stands opposed you to deal with you, to fight you. There are many Satans.
And they're not all bad. Well,
Correct, because there are Satans sent by God. They are in function of the court.
Yeah, instruction of the court.
So when you want to end a brothel, when you want to end sex trafficking, you have to find another way. You don't do it by closing a brothel because it's kicking the ants hole and they go somewhere else.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this was a long time ago when one knew less. One knew less. And one was less wise.
Yeah, but I
One
mean,
did a frontal attack.
but there's nothing wrong with doing that, is it? To clear up that area.
Yeah, but then you are micromanaging.
Well, yeah.
But I mean, you know, it's a level of understanding. We grow through all this. We learn.
Yes, but we can learn from history. A friend of mine works in the Amsterdam police force. His station was in the red light district. And he was a member of our church. And when on Sunday, everybody was shouting and screaming because we have closed the brothels. And we said, no, you haven't. They've moved to another city, all of them. You haven't done anything about the problem. The problem still exists. The women are still being abused. Sex trafficking hasn't stopped.
Mm.
You've scattered them and now you can't control it anymore. While they were in that particular area, you could control it. Now you can't because you don't know where they are. You've lost control. So while everybody was shouting and screaming and dancing, we have closed the brothel, he was crying because you haven't. We need a different strategy. We need to use our brain in order to defeat something big like that.
Yeah.
And as long as we think that Satan is a human being or a being, one being, you miss it.
Yeah.
When Peter Wagner was doing his study on spiritual warfare years ago, he even in his books write that he started interviewing people from the occult. And when he said that Beelzebub was Satan, the guy he was being interviewed, he was a high person in the occult. He just smiled at him and he said, you don't have a clue, do you?
Right.
Because Beelzebub is not Satan. Lucifer is not Satan.
Oh, I see. Yes, I see what you're saying. Yes. Yeah. So who is Lucifer and Beelzebub?
There is no Lucifer. It's not in the Bible. Show me.
Well, I mean, I think people believe that Lucifer is the fallen angel. Was
Where is it?
No,
Show me.
I mean, that's what people believe. I'm not saying
I know. So where is it?
So there is no person called Lucifer.
No.
There is no being.
No.
So is it a term that's referring to
Where does the name Lucifer come from?
angel of light?
Right.
You know who is called Lucifer in the Roman Catholic liturgy? Jesus,
Oh,
the
angel
morning
of
star.
the morning star.
Because the Roman Catholic literature is in Latin.
Ah,
And in Latin, the name Lucifer means morning star. It's Venus.
oh, crummy. Yeah.
So people scream and shout on Facebook and YouTube that the Roman Catholic is an occultic church because they worship Lucifer. Look here, you can hear it. And then you try to explain, no, guys, this is Latin. They're reciting Revelations where they worship the morning star, which in Latin is Lucifer.
Mm. And the plot gets thicker. Oh, boy.
we got it all wrong, you know. We think we know it and we start screaming and shouting and then we fight against Satan, and then you should ask which one.
Yeah.
So you're saying Satans are sent by God?
No, some of them. There are
Some of them. So how do we know? Oh, there are 5 that are sent by God.
5 categories.
5 categories. I read those out. Yes. Somewhere.
5 categories of Satan.
Yeah.
Fallen angels, members of courts of heaven working for God, gods of the nation, human beings, and the last one is hidden.
So say fallen angels.
Fallen angels, members of courts of heaven working for God, gods of the nation.
Such as what?
I don't know what that means.
What does that mean?
It must have been Ronald that said it.
Gods of the nations.
Gods of the nation. Human beings. Yeah, I can see the human beings. Yeah, I don't know what gods of the nations. What does that mean?
What's that? It's not like the warring angels of the nations.
Look, go here. Now the Lord was angry with Solomon because his heart turned away from the Lord, the God of Israel, who appeared to him twice. He had commanded him regarding this thing that he was not to follow other gods, but he did not comply with what the Lord had commanded. So the Lord said to Solomon, since you have done this, and you have not kept my covenant and my statute, which I have commanded you, I will certainly tear the kingdom away from you and will give it to your servant. However, I will do nothing in your days only for the sake of your father David, but I will tear it away from the hand of your son. Yet I will not tear away all the kingdom, but I will give it to one tribe to your son for the sake of my servant David and for the sake of Jerusalem, which I have chosen. Then the Lord raised up a Satan against Solomon, Hadad the Edomite. He was a royal line in Edom. So the Lord raised up a Satan against Solomon, which is a human being. And it came about when David was in Edom, Joab the commander began to be aware, and then Hadad fled to Egypt, and he fights against, and then verse 23, God raised another Satan against him, Rezon, the son of Eliada, who had fled from his master Hadadezer, the king of Zobah, and man gathered to himself, became a leader of the marauding band after David killed him. So the enemies of David are becoming a Satan of Solomon. And who is raising them up? God raised up another adversary. Let's go. Come on, I hate this. You don't do what I want, then you're going to be destroyed. There we go. Vayachem Adonai Satan. You see it? There it is.
Mm.
Vayachem Adonai Satan.
Mm. Mm.
Who do you think that the lying spirits were that were coming into the mouth of the prophet to kill Ahab?
They were Satans.
There were Satans from the court.
Ah, Satans from the court.
So if we look at our government today, and we knew that Boris was the man for the season,
Yeah.
is the man for the season, was the man for the season. But because of all his messing about with parties, so how do we perceive that in terms of biblical history, if you like? How would we? I mean, he was just very stupid.
Didn't take it seriously, did he? Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, let me show you something.
So where do we go from here? What?
Let me show you something first that you might understand. So what is this?
It's a chamber parliament.
No, it's a Freemasons temple in Ireland. Just
Let's
one
say,
example.
I said, oh, because it's got the black and white, hasn't it? Yeah.
And what is this?
Oh, I see. Yes.
Yeah, House of Commons.
House of Commons. Yeah.
And what is this?
Hmm.
It's a Freemasons temple.
Oh, so you're saying the House of Commons is a Freemasons temple?
Yep. You see?
It's the same layout.
So how do we? What do we? Knowing that, what do you do with that piece of knowledge?
What do you do with that piece of knowledge?
Other than run away and forget about it, because
You see? Let's have a look. Oh, here it is. Ah! Why not?
I'm going to say it's irritating when that
Maybe
comes.
because you're not a Mason.
You see this part over here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Masonic structure.
yeah.
House of Commons,
This-
Church of Amsterdam, Freemasons.
But a lot of churches would be like that, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Yes, Yes.
Yes. So churches are Masonic structures.
Why is that?
Exactly. Why is that? They've been
What-
taken over by Masonry.
They always were.
I was going to say, Masonry goes back to Solomon. Freemasons, are we?
This is the Sanhedrin.
Sanhedrin.
Yeah.
So are you saying that the Jews are Masons? It all goes back.
No. You don't get it. The Sanhedrin is
His
a
son.
copy of the courts of heaven.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yes.
That is how the courts of heaven look like.
Can you put the picture back again, please?
Of course.
The Sanhedrin is a copy of the courts of heaven.
Yeah. Let's have another picture. Or maybe this one will do. Why do you call it Sanhedrin?
I don't know.
Is it son? And it's all men, is it?
So this is the high priest. You see this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you've got, yeah.
The high priest, or maybe another color.
No, we can get that. And we can see the
Okay.
high priest,
The high priest.
the
And you-
accused.
and you've got 35 members, and here's the accused,
Mm,
and here are the clergymen,
mm.
The clerks.
the clerks. Yeah. So when you go to stop. This is the same.
Yeah.
You've got a judge over here,
Mm,
and you have both parties on either and that side.
mm-hmm.
So when the sons of God came together before the Lord to discuss how Ahab would die, some would stand up and say, let's do it like this. Another would stand up and say, we'll do it like that. And then one spirit stood up and said, I become a lying spirit in the mouth of his prophets, and it will certainly succeed. And then the Lord said, go. That happens in the Sanhedrin. So the structures on earth are a resemblance of the structures in heaven.
Yeah.
So from what you've just said, the Satan came into the court from God to say, this is what I need to do.
Yeah, it's an accuser. It's a functionary of the court. It's not a fallen angel. A fallen angel can never enter the court again. That's the definition of being fallen.
So the functionary of the court is
Yeah.
sent to,
the earth to become a lying spirit in the mouth of the prophet. Correct.
hang on a second, I'm writing this down. Functionary of the court sent to earth to become a lying spirit.
Yeah.
So how do we equate that to Boris?
I don't know.
Oh,
Who do you prefer in times of war, Chamberlain or Boris?
Boris.
Who would you prefer, Churchill or Chamberlain in times of,
Churchill.
even if he's a drunk and abusing women?
Well, I know we've had this conversation before.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Boris. Boris used to be our MP before he became Mayor of London, and he was a very, very good constituency MP, and we were very sad to lose him.
Yeah.
But then, you know, ambition calls, and
And he's being initiated and he's changed his character and
Ah, I see. Yes. He's been initiated to do what he's told
yeah,
by Masons.
whoever is in the real power.
well, the World Economic Forum and Davos and them.
Yes.
I mean, it's all coming from there, isn't it?
So what do we do about it?
Good question. You sort of think, what do we do? You know, if you go to a church that resembles a Masonic lodge, Masonic hall, then what on earth are we doing?
No, you must turn it around. The Masonic lodge resembles the court of heaven.
So how do you relate those two?
If something works, you copy it.
So the
Right.
Masonic lodge resembles the court of heaven.
Yeah.
So you,
Wait, I have to do something.
I mean, you kind of feel that your sort of puny attempts to kind of pray into the Anglican church, like, you know, up the road, kind of like, what can we do?
According to what Ronald's saying, you've got to look at the bigger picture, haven't you?
Yeah.
Come at it from a different angle, as it were.
He's looking very British in his braces, isn't he?
Yes, isn't he? Yes, yes, yes. He needs to go.
He needs a hat now.
Yeah.
He needs a bowler. Have you got a bowler hat?
or a handkerchief with 4 knots in. I don't quite. You've got, and I suppose one always should see the bigger picture. What does God want you to do? I suppose that's really where it comes from.
Well, then you start in Jerusalem, don't you?
With yourself.
Yeah, and then you go out.
Mm.
I was thinking, actually, I must go and put the canopy of angels. I must move it.
Did Paul change the religious structure in Jerusalem?
No,
Why not?
because he started something new.
He started something new.
Yeah,
Oh, so is that what we're supposed to do? Start something new?
Yes.
that's what we're doing,
Are we?
aren't we? Well, that's what the hubs are all about,
Are they?
aren't they?
I suppose it depends how we react within the hubs as to whether we're that new or different.
Why did the evangelical churches come out? Why did the Pentecostal churches come out? Why did the Full Gospel Church come out of the Anglican Church? What was the origin of the Protestant movement?
They were protesting
Yes, against what?
against
The toxicity of the Catholic Church.
The misuse of power, and for financial gain and ambition, the clergy who lie to the people to get more money and power and influence and to rule nations. So that's the negative side. What is the proper side of the Catholic Church? Giving comfort to 1.5 billion people.
Yeah.
Oh, right. I see.
And spreading the gospel. I mean,
They're instituting Christian laws. So in every nation that has a Catholic background, corruption is still condemned, even though they do it themselves, and child abuse is still condemned, even though they do it themselves. That's the hypocrisy. But it is their church that set up a governance system where moral laws were based on the Bible. You don't find that in India or in Taiwan or in China or in Nepal. When you come in any Christian country, you can find Christmas songs, people singing on the street, Christmas songs about Jesus. You don't find that in India or in Pakistan or in Turkmenia or whatever nation there is in Asia. That's the problem. We condemn a church because of their mistakes, but we don't see the right thing they do. The power of the Roman Catholic Church is that it's still one church.
Yeah. Yeah.
And of course they have their wrongs, but show me a kingdom in Israel under one of the ruling kings that didn't make a mistake. And still God bless them. Because the goodness of God is not your goodness. When you say God is good, what measure of good are you using?
Well, it's a personal good, isn't it? Usually.
It's good as long as it's aligned with your interpretation of
exactly.
Good.
Yeah, personal good. Yeah.
So how do you fight an adversary? How do you become anti-satanic?
How do you fight an adversary?
Well, you don't fight it.
So what do you do?
Say.
Well, you are so one with God.
Duh.
What do you mean, duh?
What does that mean?
That's a religious
statement.
Yeah.
How do you fight an adversary? So somebody who's coming against you about something.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose it all depends what they're coming against you about. Maybe it's something you need to correct and stop doing. Or maybe it's something that you need to stand up against.
Oh.
Satan surely can come against you about good things or bad things.
Let's have a look here.
You're going to prove me. Stop doing whatever it is that you're not supposed to do.
Let me have a look if I can find it. There we go. This is so funny. So how, let me ask you again, how do you fight a Satan?
Well, I said my bit.
What
Depends
does the Bible say you do?
Oh, I see. What does the Bible say?
You probably, well, yeah, I think obviously you have to identify if he's a goodie or a baddie.
That's okay. That's okay. But
But then you actually repent of whatever you're being accused of
how do you repent?
when you go to court.
What do you say in court?
You say, I confess I take responsibility for whatever I've done. You admit you're wrong.
Make it more specific.
Well, you admit your guilt.
How?
How?
Yeah, how do you admit your guilt? What do you
speak
say?
it.
Yeah, but what are you actually saying?
I'm sorry.
No. When you are in court.
You ask to be judged.
Yes, but what do you say?
Well, I admit my guilt. I take responsibility for what I have done.
So what you are saying actually
is I am guilty.
And that the accuser is
right.
Right. So how do you fight a Satan?
You do it in court.
No, you agree with him.
And you agree
you agree with him.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Matthew 5, agree with thine adversary, agree with your Satan, whilst you are in the way with him, lest any time the Satan delivers thee to the judge, and the judge delivers thee to the husband. The Hebrew word for adversary is
Satan.
Amen. Let's go to the Hebrew Bible. Let's see what it says there.
Oh, there it was gone.
Yeah, it says here man, to the man, but it's translated as adversary. Let's go to the Greek. Antidiko. Yeah. An opponent in law. Adversary. You see? Accuser. Formal charges. Be on alert. Your adversary, the devil. You see?
Yeah.
So there we have it. When you disarm the accuser by saying, you're right.
You're right. Yeah. Yeah.
There's a whole story about this in the book somewhere. Somebody written about it.
So basically then,
You know which book?
what book?
The book where this is all explained.
Or is it your book?
Yes.
Okay.
Your book, yes.
Just saying.
No. Okay. No, I'll have to read it.
It's interesting you saying this, because when I moved into this house, my next door neighbour's welcome to me was to come and knock on my door and tell me that if I moan at me for all the doors banging on the day I moved in, and tell me that, you know, if I carry on like that, he'll report me to the police, and that he headbutted the last guy that was in this house because of it.
I can't understand what you're saying. Please repeat.
I'm talking about the fact
Yeah.
that when I moved into this house, I'm realizing that my neighbor was a Satan
Oh,
to
okay.
me,
Yeah.
because when I moved in, he came round and he told me off for all the doors that were banging, and that the last person who was in my house, the guy who'd moved out, he'd come round and headbutted him because of the noise he'd made, and that he would report me to the police because of noise in my house, all of which he did over time. And what I found to do was to agree with him. If I had workmen in here who were making a noise, he would come round and moan at me, and I would say, yes, it is a lot of noise.
Yeah.
So I learned by experience to actually agree with him, agree with my Satan that it was true.
So you diffuse him of
Yeah,
his
I
argument.
totally diffused him. He didn't know what to say,
Yeah.
because I was agreeing. Yes, it is very noisy, and it's not good. And you know, and I'm not saying he stopped now because he's so old, whatever. But yeah, and I'm just realizing that I actually learned by experience to do what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I mean, when the police came round, they just said, yes, they had told him to do that, and they just came and apologized for having to come round.
Yeah.
You know.
So what happened when Satan came to Jesus?
And Satan came to Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And tempted him.
And tempted him. He quoted scripture. Is that the bit you're talking about in the devil in the desert?
No.
No. In the Garden of Gethsemane?
No.
No. What are you talking about?
I'm looking for it.
A quiet answer. What's it? Quiet answer. I can't remember the rest of it.
Wat is het? Wat is die tekst? John 14, that is it. John 14.
John 14.
John 14.
Yep, verse 10.
Heb je nog koffie?
Nee, ik heb nog. Oh, 30. 30.
Oh, the ruler of this world, is that a Satan then?
Again, Satan is not a person or a being. It is a functionary. Anything can be a Satan, a man, a god, nature, your dog.
Oh, Lulu.
Anything that stands against you to destroy you, to hinder you, to accuse you is a Satan, whatever its origin is.
My study Bible says for that verse, Satan, the ruler of this world,
Of course it says.
had no foothold in the life of Jesus and no authority over him.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, what chapter are we looking at? 10?
No,
14.
14.
Verse 14.
Chapter 14.
Yeah.
Yes, verse 30.
Chapter 14, verse 13.
30.
30.
Oh, 30.
I'm not speaking Ogbanese.
It's just I was crackling in the background. He has nothing to use against me.
Nothing in me. Oh, I see. Nothing to use against me. Well, that's easier to understand.
So what did Jesus do? Satan came. When a Satan came against him.
We had nothing to use against him.
Well, Satan has no power over him.
No, the prince has no power over him, which is a Satan.
Hmm?
The prince had no power over him. What does it say? The
It's the ruler of this dark world.
Okay.
Has nothing to use against me.
Okite pola la leso methimon ergetai garho tu cosmo archon kai en imoi ok eche oden. The ruler of the cosmos comes and in me has nothing. Don't rely on translations, please. Go to the Greek. Here, cosmos. It's translated world, but cosmos is not this planet.
No, it's all of it. The universe. Well,
Okay. So
because he
that-
had nothing to use against him, Jesus just carried on, walked away.
So who is the ruler of the cosmos?
the prince of the power of the air.
No, that doesn't say. It says the ruler of the cosmos.
Well, I don't know who that is.
Correct.
I was just coming up with an answer.
Excuse me?
Well, I mean, doesn't Paul talk about the prince of the power of the air?
Yeah.
Does he rule the cosmos?
No. He rules the air.
The ruler of the world is coming.
You think why are we bothering? It's all controlled from up there. We're like little turkeys scrabbling about, trying to make a difference.
Devil, devil, slanderer, accuser. We got a devil now as a slanderer and an accuser.
Okay, look here. It says the ruler of this world. You see it?
Yeah,
And what's the Greek word? Cosmos.
Yes.
So why do you think this is a fallen angel?
Don't think it's a fallen angel.
Yeah, you say it's a devil, it's Satan, it's
Well, I don't know who it is. Just tell us. And tell us how we deal with it. Come on. Tell us how we make them, how we try.
why do people
And
think
we've got so much control from baddies up there. What are we doing? How are we going to make a difference? Goodness me. I mean, might as well go back to bed and eat chocolate.
so you want to control a nation, but you don't know who's controlling the cosmos?
I don't want to control the nation. I want to set the nation free.
And you can only set it free when you control it.
Well, when you have power over it, yeah.
Yes, so you need to learn how to control it. And who is giving you the permission to control a nation? The ruler of the cosmos.
And the ruler of the cosmos is.
It's not an evil spirit.
it's God.
Yeah.
It's God. For the ruler of this world is coming, and he has nothing in me.
Yeah. And then what's the next verse?
But that the world may know that I love the Father, and as the Father gave me commandments, so I do. Arise and let us go from here.
Yeah.
So the Father is coming. Is that what it's saying?
We have gathered to the New Jerusalem, to the blood of the Lamb that speaks better words than Abel, to the congregations of saints, and to the judge of all.
The judge of all is God, or
Yeah, it's God.
God the Father.
Father is a function.
Well, when he's being Father, yeah, okay.
When he's on his throne, he's not a father, he's a judge.
Right, okay.
And he
okay.
can kill you.
Yeah. Mm.
And we mix this completely.
So these translations have missed them. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Oh, right. So these translations are reckoning it's Satan or devil, but it's
Yeah.
not. It's the Father.
it could be the Father, the ruler of the world, of the cosmos, is not a demon power. He's saying, I have fulfilled all the commandments of Torah, and even the judge can find no wrong in me. Because at the temptation, what does the devil say when he takes him up the high mountain? He shows him all the kingdoms of,
The world.
Wow.
no, of Okumenos, not cosmos. He shows him the kingdoms of the Okumenos.
The
Of the-
whole universe.
No, an oikumene is a group of people gathered under one structure. What the devil is saying is that he controls people groups,
Ah, right, yeah.
not the
Nations.
cosmos.
Yeah. People groups.
Yeah, look at this.
Hmm.
Where are you? Where are you?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. He took him on a high mountain and showed him Basilias oikumenes. You see? It's translated as world, but that is where we get all confused.
Right. So this passage has always been misunderstood,
Yeah.
putting it bluntly. Yeah.
Oikumene means the inhabited land by people.
But he doesn't have the power in the cosmos. He does, actually, doesn't he?
Who has power?
God has power.
Who else has power?
We have power.
Yes. Does the devil have power?
No,
How does he get his power?
but
Through
through
us.
us.
Hmm?
Through us.
Yeah, we give it to him.
Yeah.
He has no power. We give it to him.
We give it to him when we agree with the lies that he's telling us, or whatever.
Yes, the only thing the devil can give you is what's in your scroll.
What?
He gives you what's in your scroll, what's already yours, and he thinks you can get it from him, but you already have it, but you don't know that you have it. So you pay for something you already own.
Hmm.
That's why he's a devil and not a Satan. A devil takes away, steals,
And kills and destroys.
Wow. This is a bit major.
So how many devils are there?
a zillion.
Oh, I see. Because they're all his following. Yeah. So do we all have our personal devil?
I hope not.
I hope not.
No, that's what I was thinking.
Oh dear. So, I think I'm going to go and buy a large bar of chocolate.
And you know who's going to accuse you?
What?
Yourself.
No, your weight. Your
weight.
your measuring system.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
He's telling you, look, 25 kilos. Oh no.
More.
More. More, Lord.
Yeah. Okay.
So what do you take away of this session?
Depression.
Why?
Because how do we make a difference?
That's a
It's-
good question.
If it's so controlled, I mean, we know it's controlled. I mean, it says pray for your leaders. But if Boris has been hooked into the Masonic now, to stay in power.
By his own free choice.
Yes, I know. So we needed to have prayed more. I mean, I used to pray for him a lot when he was here. And
But I mean, he's supposed,
okay, sorry.
Hmm?
No, sorry.
when he
if-
was ill, he was supposed to have become a Christian, let's put it like that, or had somebody talk to him. Yes. Yeah.
well, I guess the desire to be in power is stronger than his desire to love God or desire to walk with God. The temptation was greater.
Okay, show me one Christian that has survived all the attacks of the enemy and is still in power and ruling and governing a nation in the way God wants it to. Show me one.
I don't know the
What
leaders that
currently?
And show me, if there was one, what a legacy is.
Yeah.
what, in years gone by?
Yes, so what happens when they resume from power, when they
I mean-
step down?
Isn't Abraham Lincoln supposed to have been?
Masonic.
Was he Masonic as well? Oh dear.
Maybe one of the old kings of England, someone like Alfred the Great, who united England, who I guess established laws, I don't know enough about him, but he was a good bloke. We're going back a long time. What? Why are you laughing? I'm trying to think of somebody.
Yeah. So that's the problem. We don't know. We don't have a role model for a Christian politician that rules a nation according to God's laws.
And leaves a legacy.
And leaves a legacy to last.
Yeah. I mean, you hear about some of the rulers in Africa, Uganda, is it?
Uganda, after Idi Amin, the nation was dedicated. So what happened after?
Yeah.
What happened afterwards?
What happens afterwards, I don't know. Then we had
What happened after Nelson Mandela in South Africa, who was a godly leader?
Yeah, all went pear-shaped.
Yeah. So what happens, even in the Bible, you see this.
Yeah, you see the good and the bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
You've got a marker. King David was the marker. You know, he was the measurement against which every king was measured, because every king in Judah was measured according to David.
Every king in Judah was measured according,
And so became king in Judah. His mother was this, and he ruled or he did not rule according to his father David. So what was the greatest king of all? Solomon, the largest empire ever established under Israeli rule. And he became an occultist.
I was going to say, because of all his wives.
Yes. So he had a great example on the one hand of a man fearful of God, and he chose another way.
And he fell.
Yeah, we just read it. God became angry with him. I appeared to you twice. I told you to obey my commandments and statutes. You didn't obey, so I'm raising up 2 Satans against you. So in this worldly system, it all depends on the leader that is in control and the heart of that leader. And if we Christians think that we can forge a nation for eternity, think again. The Americans tried it. The basis of their constitution is one nation under God.
Mm.
Yes, yes, yeah.
And see what become of it. Christians buying weapons to kill each other.
Hmm?
Christians buying weapons to kill each other.
Yeah. So going back to the question, how do we make a difference?
Yes, how do you make a difference?
Micah comes to mind. Love justice. What's it? Love justice, mercy, and walk humbly before your God.
Mm-hmm. So you are first and foremost responsible for your own life.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you pray to God that what you do in your life is an example for your neighborhood.
Yeah.
So people might follow that.
Yeah.
But what we see in the book of Judges is when the judge dies, it all goes back to default, to chaos.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well,
And
this is the whole thing about trying to leave a legacy, isn't it?
Yes, even Joshua didn't leave a legacy.
Mm. Oh, well. On that thoroughly depressing note.
No, it's encouraging.
Oh, is it?
Wilberforce left a legacy.
I was going to say.
He changed slavery without one bloodshed.
Mm.
The Americans tried it and they killed each other. He was changing a nation by bringing forth 1,300 new laws that set up the nation with a social system that up until this day cares for people. You have free healthcare because of Wilbur. You have good educational system because of Wilbur. You have a system to take care of the poor because of Wilbur.
Even though it wasn't integrated until last century.
But the foundation is there.
Mm. Mm.
Oh, because of what he did.
Yes. And because of the Anglican Church.
That we moan about.
Yes, because when you take away the Anglican Church out of England, you destroy the nation.
Yeah.
And you can't change it because it's God's church.
Only God can change it.
If he wants to.
Yeah.
Jesus didn't change the system of the Pharisees and Sadducees and the Sanhedrin. He didn't went up to them and say, here I am, I'm risen from the dead, you were wrong and I was right.
Yeah.
No.
He didn't.
No.
And when he appeared to Paul, and Paul subjected himself to the system. When he was brought into court, he was accused. And he accused the high priest, and he didn't know he was a high priest, quote unquote.
Yes, I was going to say.
But he subjected himself. But he played he was an excellent lawyer, because what he did, he set up both sides. You know, 35 on this, 35 on that. The Sadducees, who are the descendant of Zadok, and the Pharisees, the Parishim. And he set them up against each other and then stepped back.
Who's this? Paul?
Paul, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
He
Paul.
was so smart.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He positioned himself in such a way that they started fighting each other.
Yes, yes, yeah, yeah.
So how do you destroy satanic work?
Get it to destroy itself. you work out, you know what all the, I don't,
You get some background.
yeah,
But
background, so that you can work out the arguments.
Strategize
Yeah,
So
strategy.
you trigger
it to each other.
to
You-
each other.
Yeah.
That's how churches are being destroyed. The enemy does it all the time.
Because he's setting people against each other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
By distrust, by miscommunication.
Yeah.
A nation divided against itself cannot stand. That's not a demonic principle. That's a God-given principle.
Yeah.
So when you want to destroy the enemy, set them up against each other. Let them kill themselves, like Jehoshaphat did. Jehoshaphat was sieged by the Ammonites, the Edomites, and the people of the mountains of Seir. And he prayed to God, and he fasted. And then the prophet said, do not fear, I will destroy them. So they went up to battle, and the Levites went before, playing them in music instrument. And God sent down these angels, and in that night they killed each other.
Got confused, didn't they?
How did Gideon fight the army? He caused them to get fearful and fight each other and kill each other. When you want to attack your enemy, set them up against each other, take a step back and watch. If you want to fight the homosexuals, let them fight with a feminist. Don't go head on with the, when hooligans fight each other and the police appears, who turn the hooligans to? They unite against the police. So what the police must do is stand, watch them kill each other and say, okay, that's a lot of hooligans less. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
But out of a misconception of Christianity, we must save them. If you want to kill each other, go ahead, kill yourself. You're stupid. Act stupid, be stupid. God doesn't prevent you from jumping off a building. If you want to act foolish, go ahead.
Yes.
So how do we fight our Satan? Agree. You're right. Diffuse him.
Yeah.
Diffuse him.
Yeah.
Agree. You're right. And then go to court and say he's wrong. Because before court, it specifically says before you enter the courtroom. Agree.
Before. Okay, I thought you agreed in the court.
No, it says before.
Okay.
Whilst you are on your way.
Agree with them. Yeah.
And when you are in court, you cover yourself with the blood and say, there's no sin in me. You can't find it. It's all in the blood. And you turn to your accuser, you want to accuse Jesus? Even the Satans that work in the court for God get this question. So when I step in Christ and there is a godly Satan that accuses me of some horrible sin, and he's right, I step in Christ and Christ says to the accuser, to that Satan that is a functionary of the court of heaven, are you going to accuse me? That's why my book is so important.
Yes, I must read it. It's moved. It has moved. It's in the pile by the bed.
Be read.
Not on top, it's the bottom.
No, it's somewhere in the middle. Yes, I will. Okay.
And I need to rewrite it because some of the stuff has now better insight.
Do you mean,
So,
Yeah, that one.
you see, I have it.
Have you opened it? We had a math teacher at the Navy, a mathematics.
maths, yeah.
Yeah, and he was always making jokes. So he asked somebody a question, and then he couldn't answer him. Haven't you opened the book, or did you only open the book to put it on a wobbly cupboard?
You mean underneath?
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah.
So we have power over a Satan. How do you have power over a Satan?
I agree.
Agreeing and stand your case.
Right.
Because any Satan is temporal. What did Paul do to fight his Satan?
What did Paul do? Sorry, what does that?
What did Paul do to fight his Satan?
He lived with it.
Yeah, because what it said, I have been punched by a messenger of Satan. And I asked the Lord 3 times to deliver me from that. And what did God say? Shut up.
Yeah. I think that's a bit mean of God, don't you think? After all Paul was doing.
Yeah.
You don't know what he did.
Why did God say shut up?
Because he needed to agree with him.
No. So imagine this. If it's a messenger from Satan, what was he accusing Paul of?
Well, which bit? I mean, the thing in his side.
Yeah, so what was he accusing him of?
What
I
does that
don't
mean?
know.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
What has Paul done to be accused of? What did Paul do?
Well, he stopped persecuting Christians and came to Christ and started preaching.
Now, what did he do before that?
Before when? Before he
Converted.
persecuted Christians.
Yeah, what did he do?
When he persecuted them.
How?
Well, I don't know. How do you persecute people?
He killed them.
he
He
killed
killed
them.
He
killed
tortured them. He delivered them to the court. He dragged them out of their houses. He destroyed their children. So years later, when he becomes old, this messenger of Satan says, you think you're something? Don't you have forgotten what you've done?
But he's been forgiven that, hasn't he?
But he's being accused of being a murderer, a torturer, and a destroyer of the faith. And all these people that have died were brought back into his memory.
Oh, I see.
That's why he's in the beginning of his ministry says, I am also an apostle. And then at the end of his ministry, in his last letter in Timothy, it says, I am the least of them because I have persecuted the church.
Yeah, yeah,
That was his burden.
Yeah.
yeah.
He could endure the physical pain.
Hmm?
He could endure all the physical pain.
But not the guilt.
But the guilt and the shame of killing people,
Yeah.
of the sons and daughters of the master.
That's what got him.
That's what got him. That's what happens when you have done something terrible. When you
It
have
never
this,
leaves you.
it never leaves you. Like a lost child, it never leaves you. But the point is, how do you deal with an accuser that accuses you day in and day out. Because what does Peter say? He stands up and accuses you daily. There's not a day of rest when the thought comes to mind.
And you agree. I mean, because you, what else
You
can you
agree
do?
and you praise God.
Yeah.
But not because of it.
No, not because of it, because you accept the burden,
Yeah.
Right, right, right.
but you are not guided by it. You take strength out of the yoke because you take the mercy. So where is mercy? On what side?
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
So
it's
where
fine.
is judgment?
The other side.
Left. So
left.
what is the name of God connected with judgment?
The name of God.
Overall. What?
No, Elohim.
Elohim. Oh, I see those ones. Yes, Elohim.
And what is the name of God connected with mercy?
Elohim.
No, Yud He Vav He.
Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh.
Oh, I see. I
Yeah.
didn't realize that those names
Yeah.
were long. How do you?
Yeah.
That's why you see in Genesis, Elohim created in Genesis 1 and Yud He Vav He created in Genesis 2. There has to be a balance between mercy and judgment.
Judgment. Yeah.
That's why Jesus came to bring balance between mercy and judgment. It says in John, the law came by Moses, but mercy and judgment came by Christ. It says that.
Yes. Okay, Ronald.
No, I'm disagreeing. I haven't seen it like that.
Okay, you go to John. John 1, I think it's verse 13 or something like that. For the fullness we have grace, for the law was given through Moses, grace and truth were realized through Jesus Christ.
Yes.
So, see, Jesus came to bring balance. The law through Moses and grace and judgment through Jesus Christ.
Mm.
Balance. So you got priesthood on the right and kingship on the left.
Mm.
So that you have on the right side of the king, you have the priest.
Mm. Mm. Yeah. This is what Dr. O was talking about on Saturday.
Yep.
Was that an extra one or something? Why was that?
It was an extra one.
Can we get hold of that? Or is that now gone?
No, it's on the website
Oh, I see.
because he does these special series from time to time.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, I put it in the checkbox.
What? What have you put in the chat? The link?
Yeah, in the WhatsApp group or the signal, whatever you call it.
Oh, Signal. Well, that's good.
So how do we overcome a Satan?
My goodness, we agree with him.
And then you go to court and accuse
And then you
him.
go to court and you're covered by the blood. And then you say, me?
I know nothing.
I know nothing.
I'm in the blood.
I'm pure and holy.
Yeah.
I'm righteous.
So you resist by agreeing.
Yeah.
A gentle answer turns away wrath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you
Okay.
don't try to change a structure that is so old.
No.
History hasn't, there is no example in history where a structure of political or religious or scientific or educational has been changed. Once it is rooted, it doesn't change. It goes away, but it doesn't change.
Yeah. So you bring life into it. You
No, you can't. When it's dead, it's dead. Only God can resurrect something like that.
no, but you can bring life to the people in it.
You take people out of it. But not all of them, because the structure must be intact.
No, but
because
I mean, you have some Anglican churches that are very spirit-filled and alive.
yeah,
I mean, there's a whole spectrum. I mean,
Yeah.
this is one of the things about the Church of England. It covers a multitude,
yeah.
you know, from the high to the low, to the religious, to the free, to the.
But- Don't go in there with a thought that you can change it. That's the wrong entrance.
So what
because-
am I doing there then?
I don't know, but
What do I?
the dominion over that church will recognize you as somebody who wants to change something, and you are being resisted. It's so simple. They recognize, oh, there's somebody who's trying to change us. Let's
So
do.
when you- so who is the dominion then?
The dominion God has put there.
What you mean, the diocese?
You mean the people, or do you mean the
No,
spiritual?
the spiritual dominion over its structure recognizes when you want to change something. And when God has set a dominion to have this structure, the structure has a purpose. The Roman Catholic has a purpose. Roman Catholic Church. They are a stabilizing factor.
In the
You
world?
don't- Yeah, you might not agree with them on a theoretical basis, but they are a stabilizing factor in many nations.
So would you say that about the Church of England?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, right.
Your kingdom is based on it.
Oh, yeah. And I think the concern is when the Queen dies as the head of the church,
A new one will come, and they will taken into the secret chamber where nobody can watch, and they will be anointed into the ministry.
into what secret chamber?
How do I know these things and you don't? When Queen Elizabeth becoming a queen, when she was inaugurated, there was this huge service in the church,
Yeah,
Yeah,
and there was a moment when the highest person of the Church of England, the Archbishop, whatever, entered into her space and closed the curtains, and she was anointed there.
head of the church.
Yes, and nobody knows what's going on there. It's a secret. There is an initiation and a dedication taking place, because you cannot become a king of a nation in England unless you are inaugurated into the Church of England.
Yeah, and there's a special oil too that she's anointed
Yes.
with. Yeah,
And we don't know what's going on, but we do know it's a special ceremony. And
Yeah.
you can't become a king without it. So when the next king comes, they will get the same anointing and will be set up for rulership as part of the Church of England.
but although he declares himself defender of faiths. Okay. Okay, thank you.
When the policeman stops you on the road because you have driven too fast, will you ask him if he watches pornography and cheated on his wife?
No,
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 keep
because
that
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He is in function.
Yeah.
And as a functionary, he's right and you're wrong.
Right,
Even
right,
though
right.
he lives in sin.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is that when Prince Charles or whoever, it doesn't matter his life, at that moment it is his function.
Correct.
Right, I'm with you. Right, I'm with you.
Unless the law is changed and the protocol is changed, which to my knowledge hasn't,
No, no, no.
the next king will be initiated and anointed.
Yeah. Okay. Good one. Okay. Thank you. That's reassuring. Thank you.
And will be part of the Church of England. And you
Yeah.
can't destroy the Church of England. Stop it.
I'm not trying to destroy it. I'm
Try to-
asking what my function is there.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah. All sorts of people can come in and do all sorts of things.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
yeah.
you are marked when you try to change something. When you start blabbling around, that's the mistakes I made. Try to change people and tell them how much you know.
Yes, yes, yes.
And you are put to the sideline.
Yeah, yeah.
Nobody,
yeah.
you're put to the sideline. Nobody listens to you anymore.
No. No.
You are not asked. You're accepted, but you're not listened to.
Yes.
Don't think
Because-
I ever was, really.
Because I came in all blabbering, trying to change the church. It didn't work.
Okay.
No, I've learned. I've learned.
And you can't overrule a person's belief system and his will.
Yeah.
And when somebody is emotionally attached because his whole identity is based on his function, and you would take away the function, you would take away the identity, the people will not lose their function. They will stay in that function because their identity has completely merged into their function.
Mm.
Yeah.
That is why so many people die when they go out of work, when they retire.
Mm. Mm.
They die because they have lost their function, their meaning, because the meaning of their life was in their function and not in their being.
Yes, yes, yes. I completely see that.
So when you have a vicar whose identity is based on his function, and you want to take that away, he's going to resist you. Even if he does it unconsciously.
Mm.
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 Because he senses this person wants to take me out, but you take me out of my identity.
Mm.
I will not have that.
Well, I mean, he agreed with me. I mean, when I said that's what God had said. Anyway, I don't know. I don't know.
Anyway,
I don't know.
I
Do you
shall
know,
have
Carol?
fun.
Do you know?
I don't know nothing. I know nothing.
You're from Barcelona. My name
Yeah,
is
I'm
Manuel.
Barcelona. I know nothing. Yes, yeah, yes. No. But I shall have to go because I've got to get to Stevenage.
Oh, I have to go. I have to have my breakfast.
I have to go because I'm going walking. So
Yes.
No, stop.
stop. What?
We stop.
Okay, we stop. All right.
Yeah, but and there'll be nothing next week.
No, it's conference.
That's what I was
Yeah.
going to say. So be
Are you
right.
go-
There'll be no session next week.
Yes, there will be, but it's online. If you register.
Sorry. There'll be none.
It's his conference next week.
That's
Yeah,
right. So there'll
yeah.
be none of this session won't happen.
No, you will see me, but if you register.
Oh yeah, yes. Yes. I'm talking about this session.
Correct.
Yes, there you are. I know what I'm talking about. Yes, that is a different session with a different getting in point. Yes. How many sessions is there going to be?
Monday evening, one session. And then Tuesday and Wednesday, 3. each.
So there'll be 7 altogether. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So a last thing. Do you know how this is called?
What is it? Are those chopsticks?
No,
No.
it's a children's toy.
Oh, yes. And you make it wheel around. Oh,
Yeah.
you swing it. Yeah. Yeah.
How do you call that?
I don't know at this moment.
We call it a Diabolo.
What's that? If it was
Diablo. You see, it's called a Diablo.
what? Can that be translated? That
Diablo.
it hasn't got an English meaning. It's just that.
Yeah.
Well, it's a devil, a diabolo, or diabolo.
Let's have a look. Diabolo. Diabolo is a juggling circus prop consisting an axle, a bobbin, and 2 cups.
Yeah, Bobby. Yes.
So how does the game work? Like this. You see?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the whole point, it's a game of balance
Mm.
between 2 sides.
Yeah.
And what the devil wants to do, he wants to skip you to one side or to the other.
Mm.
So you get unbalanced.
Yeah.
The temptation is always to unbalance you.
Yes.
That you show mercy to those who don't, and you show judgment to those who don't.
Yeah.
Don't what?
You show mercy to people who shouldn't have had mercy, and you judge people who should have had mercy. The temptation. Why did King Saul fell? Because he showed mercy to Amalek. He should have killed him.
Yeah.
So Samuel came and said, you didn't obey the voice of God. Yes, I did. No, you didn't, because he's still alive. And I told you to kill him. So the temptation is always to bring you off balance.
Mm.
Whose temptation?
The devil's temptation. The devil tempts you to bring you off balance.
Like you do with me.
I'm only asking questions to ground you.
To what? To grind me.
To ground you.
Grind me.
So the only reason why I ask so many questions is to get your conscience active and to know why you are doing stuff.
Well, I don't know. This is the thing.
So why are you doing them if you don't know what you're doing?
Because I just follow the prompting.
Oh, that can help you, but it can also destroy you.
Carol, will I see you at the weekend? Do you know yet?
Well, I hope to see you next week.
I'm thinking at this moment, probably not.
Why not? Oh, are you talking to me or Ronald?
I'm talking to you.
Okay.
I shall talk to you later. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Are you going to register for our conference?
Yes. When I get around to it.
You have the link? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just read.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.